The lady who attacked the Ghanaian living in South Africa a few days ago together with her friends has spoken. So Ababe explaining why she did what she did and why she won't stop attacking Ghanaians and Nigerians living in South Africa until they all leave South Africa back to their respective countries. According to this lady, she doesn't care whether you are staying there legally or illegally. She doesn't care the pressure being mounted on South African government by Ghanaian government. All that she wants, all that South Africans want, is that Ghanaians and Nigerians should leave their country. Now, before showing you this video, there are a lot of people, Omujidi said, Ghanaians are not a problem in South Africa, but instead, Nigerians. They believe Nigerians, some of them, if not all, are so bad to the extent that they are committing several crimes in South Africa, now forcing them to extend their anger on Ghanaians. Would you agree with what those people are saying or not? Now, before Mposeme Tuaso, let us go and listen to this lady known in real life as Jacinta Zuma. Yeba Tuamoso.
Hi guys, I'm recording this video as an SOS or a distress call. I'm very worried about the way things are being reported in this country. I mean, it's clear, it's obvious that some media people are obviously not in favor of South Africans fighting for their rights. It's clear that politicians are also not in favor of South Africans fighting for their rights, and that's cool. But I feel like it's very important for South Africans to understand that you are the ones now that hold the key to speaking the truth and telling it for really what it is. Because let me tell you, illegal immigrants and foreigners in general in this country are victims. They have been positioned as victims. They have been put on billboards to be victims. They have shouted and screamed for the whole world to see them as victims. And that's why they get away with all the crimes that they commit and all the nonsense that they're doing in this country. Because the first thing people jump to say is, oh, South Africans are xenophobic. And then South Africans, then they'll remind us about our history. And then they'll tell us that they helped us during apartheid. And then they'll tell us about how the economy, how we need the economy, what. Immigration has nothing to do with the economy. South Africa has an immigration crisis right now. South Africa is dealing with an immigration crisis right now, and it's a matter of urgency. We have been flooded by people that we don't know, that walk in from Africa and come into South Africa and start setting up shops and start selling, others start doing crime, others start taking over buildings. It is a cry for help from South Africans that we have an influx of people that we don't know. If you keep up with the news, you'll see some of them are even on Interpol all the way from Nigeria. Some of them are here committing all kinds of crimes that you can think of. And the first thing that they do is assume the position of being victims. So that when we South Africans stand up for ourselves, we are positioned as the ones that are wrong. So I'm asking all South Africans, this is the time that you must never keep quiet. Never allow these people to continue with this narrative of making us seem like we're crazy in the head for standing up for our country and the future of it. If people want to be in our country, that is perfectly fine, but do it in the correct manner. Come into South Africa because you've got a job offer that says that there's a space that is available for you to take up a job, as we do in other countries. In South Africa, people come here, they start trying to replace South Africans by allowing themselves to be hired as cheap labor for a very low amount, because they know that that money in their countries is a lot of money, unlike here. And when you say something about it, they call you lazy. They say South Africans are lazy because they know that at the end of the day, all they're here to do is become slaves. and then it's become South Africans' fault that they charge the minimum wage, which is money for survival in this particular country, not in their country, where our rand is 10 times better. So that money, when they have a rand here in their country, they've got more money than they need. In South Africa, we don't have that luxury. And then you have people telling us about skin color and being black. If black people loved us, if those same black people loved us, they would have protected us from a capitalist system that manipulates South Africans and makes us work like slaves for survival. But no, they're not here for that. They're here because they want to replace us, and they want to be the modern day slaves at the expense of us being rendered useless. So we already know that the media is not in our favor. Of course, we're not talking about everyone, but we know. Because look at what is happening in the country right now. When we were in East London, foreigners came to attack South Africans while they were protesting. That story didn't trend as much as the story of South Africans when they were angry and decided to retaliate. If you're going to call out wrong and say, okay, the burning or whatever was wrong, fine, do it. But don't manipulate the story in a sense that you do not tell how the story started. How do you, as a foreigner, come into someone else's country and stab someone because they're protesting in their country? Right now, yesterday, a South African woman, Teresa from March and March, was beat down on the streets by foreigners. And then when South African men got angry at that and decided to retaliate, suddenly the only thing that's trending now is that retaliation. Not the full picture, no. Not calling out the entire incident in its totality, no. You're just calling out the people that were retaliating after a woman was beaten. We've got all these politicians, Abo Musimaimane and so forth, Abo Zwelinzima Vavi, now having a voice when it's the foreigners who beat up a woman on the streets, by the way. But they don't say anything about that. And now, another story in the Eastern Cape. A woman who was protesting yesterday after the foreigners beat up another woman. So these foreigners beat up a woman for wanting water from a tap. They march on the streets. What do foreigners do? They burn her house down because they don't want her to speak up against the behavior of foreign nationals. So you're telling me that foreigners can do any and everything that they want in this country, and the law only applies to us? The government only remembers that there's law in this country when it has to apply to South Africans. When do we hear foreign nationals being told about their behavior in the country? We've never heard government complain about the way they hijack buildings, about the way they're leaving our streets dirty, the way they've run down our buildings, the crimes that they've committed. The many things that we already know we can attribute to foreigners, but we're not allowed to speak up about it. In these Pakistani shops and Somalian shops, how many girl children get raped? But we can't say anything because if we say anything, we're going to be called vigilantes. Guys, it's okay now. Call us whatever you want to call us. It's okay. Call us vigilantes if you want. But you can't stop us from fighting for our rights. Because remember, the same government that today is telling us about vigilantism and laws and what is the same government that got into power because they saw that the laws of the country were oppressing the people. And what did they do? Now you want to tell us that when South Africans are unhappy with you, that they are vigilantes. You're ignoring the cries of South Africans. But when foreigners are affected, you jump. Because foreigners you can't tell me that you do not see the provocation that we get from foreigners, even in the comment sections on social media, every single day, the videos that they make, telling us, saying, oh, you can try that, we're going to take over South Africa, South Africa is our country, you guys are lazy, you're useless, and we are here, we're going to show you what. You don't see all of those things. And you think it's okay for people to behave like that in a country where the natives live. Remember, we don't have another country. We don't have. They can do whatever they want because they know they can go back to wherever they want to go back to. So with us, this is the only way that we can survive is if South Africa survives. So when you're calling out South Africans, we're not going to listen to you anymore if you're not calling out your foreign nationals. If you're not arresting your foreign nationals for the crimes that they're committing, it means you're giving everyone a free pass to continue and commit crime. You cannot tell us that there's criminals all over the country. South African criminals are a South African responsibility. We don't have a responsibility to foreigners from all over the world here. We are not trying to import criminals into our country. That's not what we want. That's not a country. So now, please stop this thing of trying to make it seem like South Africans are crazy in the head for defending themselves against foreign nationals. Because we're not going to stop defending ourselves against provocation and this consistent violence. We know they come from a violent background. They ran away from their countries which have violence because that's the only language they know. So they come into to our country to commit even more violence. And we are the ones that must retract and keep quiet. So if you are saying to me those people are victims as you claim, why are they fighting in South Africa? They were not able to fight in their country. Did they fight in their country? No, they ran to South Africa. Now when they're in South Africa, they have the ability to fight. Very rich, very, very rich. If they have an ability to fight, I suggest they go and fight in their country. You can't be fighting South Africans for their country. It'll never happen. So here's the second video that I promised, and it's mostly questions that I want to pose to fellow Africans who seem to be hell-bent on assuming the position of being victims. No matter how hard we try to explain ourselves that there's no xenophobia here, we are tired, they just start creating stories about people who are being hit, who are being killed. And no matter what, even last time they were taking videos of things that are unrelated and saying that those are videos that they're using to support the claim that we are xenophobic. And I promise you right now, I think you're not doing yourselves any favors by not listening to what South Africans are saying, because what we're saying is clear. We're not fighting you, we're telling you the truth as it is, and it's you that decides that you don't want to hear it, because you decide to resort to swearing, calling us names as usual. And the funny thing is, the same thing that you're doing, swearing at us, is the same thing that other immigrants who are here in South Africa are doing, and they're the same people that they are claiming that we're xenophobic against them. So here are the questions that always leave me puzzled when it comes to this issue of illegal immigrants and people claiming that they're here because they need refuge in South Africa because their countries are so bad. First of all, you guys always say South Africa is xenophobic. You say it all the time. Every 2 minutes that you get, you jump to say xenophobia, xenophobia. So my question is, if South Africa is xenophobic, why are you angry then that South Africans are saying go home? Because this is your opportunity to leave the xenophobic country. Why would you be fighting people in their country because they're xenophobic in their country, and you've got a country to go to that you can always just go back to? You don't have to put up with xenophobia. You don't have to put up with all the pain and suffering that you claim you're going through because South Africans are hitting you or killing you, whatever. Why are you guys lying and saying there's xenophobia, whereas you are refusing to leave the very same country that you claim has xenophobia? Second to that, you are the same people. 60% of you are here committing crimes. 60%. But you are the victims. We've got an entire show on South African TV called Sizokuthola. And every single Sunday, without fail, there are Nigerians that are found with drugs, selling drugs, and their answer is always that they are trying to hustle in South Africa. So our country must just keep quiet while you guys sell our children drugs and just hijack buildings, and you come here and you prostitute women, you steal children, you kidnap, you do tuck shop mafias, you sell rotten food. We must keep quiet while you do that, because if we don't keep quiet, you're going to jump to say you're going to stop trading with us. Kanti, you're not doing us a favor by trading with South Africa, by the way. You're trading with South Africa because you get something out of it. Trade works that way. You don't trade for free. You trade because you are getting something in return. But you are not trading people with us. So this thing of saying that you're going to stop trading with us is funny, because if you are trading with South Africans, trade with goods. Don't trade with us by sending us people from your country and forcing us to live with them. And then if we don't want any more of them because there's millions and millions of them walking around committing crime, suddenly you turn around and make us the bad people. Also, another thing that I find so strange is that you are the same people that come here claiming to be refugees, to be poor, to be all these sad stories that you always give when you want to stay in South Africa. But when you are in South Africa and you realize that you claim and you want the whole world to listen to your sad stories about lies that you create, saying that there's xenophobia and you're dying and this and that, you claim that you fear for your lives. You left your country because you feared for your life. But you didn't fight for your country. But you are here in South Africa fighting South Africans for South Africa. How does that make sense? You failed to fight in your own country for your rights in your own country with your own government, for your own children's future and your entire lineage. But you are here in South Africa telling us that you're fighting South Africans because they no longer want you in South Africa. I find this so strange. I find this so strange. That where do you get this energy that you guys have to make videos about how South Africans are fighting you, what, when you don't make those videos about your government that hits you, that abuses you, that kills you, that the police just hit you randomly. Like right now, you guys are making a video trend. And you are saying the worst things about South Africa. South Africans are evil, they're this, they're that, because they spoke to you and told you to go back to your country. South Africans, all they did was speak to you and tell you that you have to go back to your country. Speak. But your government, your police beat you up, they hit you, they torture you, they do the most cruel things that are against human rights. But you don't know your human rights when you're in your country, do you? So your human rights only exist when you're in South Africa. You only know South Africans to be the ones that must abide by human rights. You can do whatever you want in your country. Even here in South Africa, you do the most horrible things. You don't remind people about their human rights. You don't know their human rights. You only remember them when it comes to South Africans. Guys, I have to tell you this, whether you like it or whether you hate it, whether it makes you angry, South Africans are not going to move from the call of removing illegal immigrants and foreigners who are in this country with no approval to be here, just trying to get our documents, fraudulently getting them, corrupting the system, paying money to get here, then opening tax shops and running businesses without paying tax and doing all of these funny things, working for R1 an hour, while South Africans know that there's a minimum wage in this country. We are not going to allow you to break our laws anymore while you hide behind the banner of xenophobia. South Africans are xenophobic. We are tired. We allowed you guys to do that once and once upon a time, but you're not going to do it again. Now when we're standing up for ourselves in our country, something that you couldn't do in your own country, you couldn't do that in your own country. And some of you are not even in South Africa, you're in other countries, and you're claiming that we're being abusive to people. You don't even know the life that we live because of foreigners in South Africa. You don't even care, in fact, because you like being victims. Africans have a tendency of wanting to be victims about everything. You don't take accountability for the things that you do. You can't even stand up for yourselves, to your own government, and that's why African countries are in such a horrible state. Because you fear your government. And you don't want African unity. You guys must be honest. You don't want African unity. You want to leave your countries in a junk to come and be in South Africa so that we must take care of you. That's the honest truth. Because if you loved your countries and if you knew about what human rights are, you would have fought for your human rights in your country. You can't come here now and tell us that you've got human rights when you didn't remember those human rights in your country. Some of you don't even have a democracy. You don't even vote. But when in South Africa, someone tells you to go home, or we are marching in our streets against our government, handing over memorandums to our government, you have a problem with this. You ask us if we're authority. In South Africa, we are the authority. We are the authority. You know those same quotes that you always make from the Bill of Rights that South Africa belongs to all who live in it. There's also a quote that the people shall govern. You must know they go hand in hand. You can't know one thing that favors you and do not know the other things that don't favor you. So lastly, you guys we've been very kind. None of you, not even a single one of you, has kept migrants in your country for 33 years in millions. Not even, show me one other African country that has had migrants in their country for 33 years. Not even one. We don't even have refugee camps for you guys because we wanted to integrate you into our country. What did you do? You took that for granted. And now you want to tell us that we're xenophobic because we're tired. No, guys. No. It's not going to work like that. It's not going to work like that. You can't even allow people to break the laws in your own country. Why are you asking us to break our own laws? Because if we don't, then we are xenophobic. There's laws in this country. There's immigration laws. There's laws that govern the behavior of people coming outside of the country, like your countries. So if you can't fight for yourselves and fight for your rights in your own country and fight for your government or with your government, don't tell us we must do the same. It's not about you here. We're not fighting you. We're fighting our government. But if you want to come here and talk like this and think that you're going to make us stop, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
So that is Jacinta. She said they won't stop attacking Ghanaians. One, they won't stop attacking Nigerians. Two, if they have a voice to fight back, they should instead use such voice to go back to their countries, Ghana and Nigeria, to fight their government for better condition of living. Well, she's a South African, and a lot of people are supporting her, especially South Africans. Now, ebinum echimwa Ghanaians and South Africans, no, we were one. You know, we supported them during apartheid time. Likewise, Nigeria also supported them. They need to put a stop. Now, after watching this video, what do you think? Do you think Ghanaians and Nigerians should leave South Africa entirely and also sack South Africans from Nigeria and Ghana respectively back to their country? Or we should, you know, negotiate and then stay there? Please, I need your opinion on this video. Let us know under the comment section. Well, Vimbas TV so,
Vimbas TV.